Hi, friends. It's Jules. Welcome to Jules Reads. I just filmed a video on my journaling page in my Moo Moo, and I thought I'd come over here and do it in my Moo Moo. I seriously look like Mrs. Roper. I had a Moo Moo's and margarita party with my book club gals, and we wore Moo Moo's, and it was the best party ever. I loved it. I thought what I would do today is show you the books that I want to read in August. For me, it's a pretty ambitious goal. One, two, three, four, five, 6 books. I did read 7 last month, and a couple of these, well, actually, one is pretty short. But let's get started, and I will tell you, I'm going to read the synopsis, and maybe I'll read the first sentence if I can remember. Okay, so the first book is Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. And this says it is London 1862. Sue Trender, orphaned at birth, grows up among petty thieves, fingersmiths. Fingersmiths, that's hard to say with Invisalign in. Under the rough but loving care of Mrs. Saxby and her family, one day, gentleman, an elegant con man, arrives with a proposition for Sue. If she works as a maid to Maud Lily, a gentlewoman, and aids gentlemen in her seduction, they will all share in Maud's vast inheritance. With dreams of repaying her adopted family, Sue agrees to the plan. Once in, however, Sue begins to pity Maud and care for her in unexpected ways. But nothing is as it seems in this Dickensian novel of thrills and reversals. All right. So this is Sarah Waters. It says she wrote The Little Stranger, The Night Watch, Affinity, and Tipping the Velvet. I don't think I've read Sarah Waters before. I heard about this from another YouTuber and I'm anxious to get into it. It is thicker. I do have it on audio, so I might do it in tandem on audio. Yeah, it's like almost 600 pages. So that makes me lean a little bit more towards the audio, but I might do a combination of it. And then the next one is the short one I have, and that's The Stepford Wives by Ira Levine. This says for Joanna, her husband Walter, and their children, the move to beautiful Stepford seems almost too good to be true. It is. For behind the town's idyllic facade lies a terrible secret, a secret so shattering that no one who encounters it will ever be the same. At once a masterpiece of psychological suspense and a savage commentary on the media driven society that values the pursuit of youth and beauty at all costs. The Stepford Wives is a novel so frightening in its final implications that the title itself has earned a place in the American lexicon. Ira Levine wrote Rosemary's Baby? Yes. And I have that book. I want to read that as well. And I'm planning to do a vlog where I read this and watch the movie. I told you I was going to read like the first sentence of the book. I already failed at that task. Okay, let's see. The welcome wagon lady, 60 if she was a day. What? The welcome wagon lady, 60 if she was a day, but working at youth and vivacity, ginger hair, red lips, a sunshine yellow dress, twinkled her eyes and teeth at Johanna and said, "You're really going to like it here. It's a nice town with nice people. You couldn't have made a better choice." So Sarah Waters Fingersmith. My name in those days was Susan Trender. People called me Sue. I know the year I was born in, but for many years I did not know the date and took my birthday at Christmas. I believe I am an orphan. I like that. All right, the next book I'm going to read, and I'm also going to watch the movie, is Perfume, A Story of a Murderer by Patrick Soskind. And let's see. Jean is abandoned on the filthy streets of 18th century Paris as a baby, but grows up to discover he has an extraordinary gift, a sense of smell more powerful than any other human's. Gradually, he learns how to exploit this gift in the art of creating the most sublime perfumes in France. Yet there is one odor he cannot capture, the scent of an innocent young virgin. In order to perfect his experiments, he must have the final ingredient at any cost. A cult international bestseller, Perfume is a bewitching, darkly humorous fable of desire, obsession, and death. Love that. I have to tell a story about when I bought this book. I bought it in Edinburgh, Scotland, and I was in, I think it was Waterstones on the main road in Edinburgh. And I was looking for this book specifically. I wanted a different cover and they didn't have it. But so I was asking the girl at the counter and where I could find this book in the store. It's a really big multi-level store. And she was so funny. She said, it is, look for it at this location, I think second floor, on one of the tables. And it has a girl on the cover with red hair. And the checkout girl had red hair, red, beautiful hair. She looked just like this girl. It's a beautiful red woman on the front, and she's going like this. I could not stop laughing. It was hilarious. So I will always remember that and where I bought it and that fun experience at Waterstone in Edinburgh. Okay, the next book I want to read in August is Erasure by Percival Everett. I read James. That's the only one so far I've read of Percival Everett. I have been collecting his books and I'm excited to read more. This is also a movie. So I hope to do some vlogging this month where I read books and watch the movie and compare them. And this one says, oh, I forgot to read the first sentence of Perfume. Oh my goodness. Okay, we'll go back. Thelonious Monk Ellison's writing career has bottomed out. His latest manuscript has been rejected by 17 publishers, which stings all the more because his previous novels have been critically acclaimed. He seethes on the really can't say that with a Invisalign on the sidelines of the literary establishment as he watches the uh, medi- mediocre success of Wee's lives in the ghetto. A first novel by a woman who once visited some relatives in Harlem for a couple of days. Meanwhile, Monk struggles with real family's tragedies. His aged mother is fast succumbing to Alzheimer's, and he still grapples with the reverberations of his father's suicide 7 years before. In his rage and despair, Monk dashes off a novel meant to be an indictment of Juanita May Jenkins' bestseller. He doesn't intend for Mr. Puffology, I don't know the word, to be published, yet alone taken seriously, but it is under the pseudonym Stag R. Lee, and soon it becomes the next big thing. How Monk deals with the personal and professional fallout galvanizes this audacious, hysterical, and quietly devastating novel. Well, that sounds good. Okay, so the first couple sentences or so. My journal is a private affair, but as I cannot know the time of my coming death, and since I am not disposed, however unfortunately, to the serious consideration of self termination, I'm afraid that others will see these pages. Ooh. Okay, let's read the first sentence of Perfume. In 18th century France, there lived a man who was one of the most gifted and abominable personages in an era that knew no lack of gifted and abominable. I shouldn't do this. His story will be told here. His name was Jean Baptiste Grenouille. Okay, moving on. The next book I want to read in August is Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. And this book said Dominic Salt and his 3 children are caretakers of Shearwater, a tiny island not far from Antarctica. Home to the world's largest seed bank, Shearwater was once full of researchers, but, but with sea levels rising, the salts are now its final inhabitants. Until, during the worst storm the island has ever seen, a woman mysteriously washes ashore. Isolation has taken its toll on the salts, but as they nurse the woman Rowan back to strength, it begins to feel like she might just be what they need. Rowan, long accustomed to protecting herself, starts imagining a future where she could belong to someone again. I'm not going to read too much further in there because that is feeling like they're giving away some things. I don't like to read the synopsis too much. Okay, as far as the first sentence goes, that it says Rowan at the top, so it looks like it might be from different perspectives. I have hated my mother for most of my life, but it is her face I see as I drown. The face I see when I wake from drowning is different. It is rough and wind-bitten and scratchy. It is what I'm looking at when the sudden arrival of pain overcomes me, and I know the image of him will forever be as one with this pain. That's a great opening. All right, the next book I want to read in August is Hello, Beautiful by Anne Napolitano. And this one, a coworker had mentioned this actually a couple years ago, and I asked her what her favorite book of the year was, and she reads about the same I do, same amount of books, and she said this was her favorite book of the year. So I'll read a little bit from the synopsis. William Waters grew up in a house silenced by tragedy, where his parents could hardly bear to look at him, much less love him. So when he meets the spirited and ambitious Julia Padavano in his freshman year of college, it's as if the world has lit up around him. With Julia comes her family, as she and her three sisters are inseparable. Sylvie, the family's dreamer, is happiest with her nose in a book. Cecilia is a free spirit artist, and Emmeline patiently takes care of them all. With the Padavanos, William experiences a newfound contentment. Every moment in their house is filled with loving chaos. All right, and then the first sentence, it does say at the top, William, February 1960 to December 1978. For the first 6 days of William Waters' life, he was not an only child. He had a 3-year-old sister, a redhead named Caroline. There were silent home movies of Caroline in which William's father looked like he was laughing, a sight William never saw again. Well, that sounds good as well. So let me know what you are looking forward to reading in August. What are your bets on how many of these I finish? I'm betting half. I bet I finish 3. I hope. I hope. Okay, sorry the lighting is really bad, but I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and enjoyed my Moo Moo. I mean, come on. Somebody else, some other booktuber get in a Moo Moo and do this. I tagged somebody. I don't know who. Anybody. Do it. All right. I will chat with you guys later and have a great rest of your week.